Don't worry, guys. I got you. I can tell you about this movie. Don't Worry, Darling was directed by Olivia Wilde, and it stars Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, Olivia Wilde, and a ton of other star-studded people in this cast. In this movie, it's set in 1950s America, in which something called the Victory Project is taking place that's meant to improve the life in the home for the wives and for the husbands. And along the way, these women are trying to learn how to become better for their men, but soon they begin to uncover a dark truth that could possibly change their view on everything. So despite all the controversy that's gone around this film, I was still excited to see it, just because I've kind of become a big fan of Florence Pugh, mainly because of the fact my brother really likes her a lot. So I decided, this would be a good film I could go out and I could go watch. But as things went on and people began to talk more about it, I did get my concerns a little bit more with it. I have my reservations, and after seeing the film, I can say a lot of them were confirmed. This movie has what I think is a good premise. It has a generally good idea of what it wants to be, and it sets up a really interesting mystery, a plot that's very mysterious, and it's trying to lead you in a direction. You want to know where you're going to go with this, because it keeps going, and you're trying to figure out where they're going to go, and you think they may go one direction, you think they might go the other, but then as the movie keeps going, you start getting worried that maybe they're going to go this one particular way. And eventually, they kind of do go that way. And I think that's where the film gets disappointing, because I think the first act of this movie is really good, the second act is intriguing and excellent, but by the time the second act begins to end and the third act begins to start, the movie began to lose me, because I stopped being as interested as I was, and it kind of just falls in on itself, and I think kind of begins to rush, just to kind of tie everything up, and that didn't necessarily work for me. The script isn't necessarily the best either. And this film is highly stylized. There is a lot to this film that is just a lot of fluff, a lot of good looks, a lot of huge camera angles, cinematic shots, and great lighting and set design without anything behind it. But that's not to say the entire movie's just like a bunch of fluff. There is stuff to this movie that's worth it. For instance, the performance by Florence Pugh is phenomenal. She brings a great energy, and she brings a great amount of vulnerability to this character. And as she's slowly unraveling this dark secret that's going on with this Victory Project, you begin to sympathize with her, and you get it. You get what's going on right now, and I found myself interested in that aspect. I think the film, despite the fact it doesn't work out totally, has enough to hook you. You can watch this movie all the way through, and I think you'll be entertained. You'll be paying attention. You won't lose focus of anything that's happening in the movie, because it's at least keeping you from falling asleep, which is the greatest sin that any movie can do, is make you fall asleep. I do think this film also has the ability to create some pretty cool characters, because Chris Pine in here I think is really good with his stuff, and the psychological part of this film, there are some things that they do that I was really happy with. I liked some of the things that they decided to do. The way they decided to build certain relationships was really nice. And the way they try to show what can happen in a society where people believe one thing, despite the fact that something else is being projected, it was really good. There are some good messages in here overall, and I think the film is trying to offer something that's cohesive and some that's ineligible, but it just doesn't necessarily work for me all the way through. I love, though, the absolute way they threw back to the times. It was really good. I felt like I was in the 50s. It was nicely done. Overall, I'd say I had a decent time with this movie, and it's something where I don't really know if you need to go out and watch the movie. I feel like this is something that you can just wait till it comes to streaming or it comes to physical media at this point. It's not a big deal. You're not going to miss much, but at the same time, if you want to go see this movie, honestly, go ahead. I'm not going to recommend it for you to go see. But if you feel like, hey, you've been waiting to see this movie and the controversy has you interested, as I've heard from a lot of people, go see the movie. Go check it out. Go have a fun time. Have a blast with it and enjoy yourself. Because that's kind of what it's there for. And this film does seem like also at times it takes itself a little too seriously. But other times I feel like it's really got something going on that's really neat and really good. And I like that. So this film is a little bit of a toss-up for me. So with that said, let's give it a rating. I'm going to give Don't Worry, Darling a 5 out of 10. So thank you guys always so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all next time.